Movie begins with a shocking event. Strange creatures suddenly appear out of nowhere and start attacking humans. But oddly, they don't attack animals at all, only humans. People try to fight back, but within almost a month, these creatures wipe out about 95% of the human population. Later, humans discover that these creatures, called reapers, cannot climb above 8,000 feet for some unknown reason. So the remaining survivors build colonies in the mountain above 8,000 feet to stay safe. 3 years later, we see a mountain colony called Lost Gulch Refuge. There, a young kid named Hunter accidentally goes below the 8,000 feet safety line. When he's returning, a reaper spots him, but Hunter sees it in time and manages to cross back above the white 8,000-foot line before the reaper can attack. When he returns home, his father Will finds out what happened. He gets very worried and explains to his son that he must never go below 8,000 feet again. Later, Will goes hunting in the forest with his friend Katie. While talking, he tells her that his son went below 8,000 feet today. Katie says he's still just a child. She mentions that he lost his mother at Red Rock, which is why he keeps trying to go to that place. But with time, he'll understand. Then they return to the colony. There's also a woman named Nina. She experiments with new chemicals on bullets and fires them at a reaper's scale, but nothing happens. Nina was one of the scientists trying to find the reaper's weakness, but they failed. Still, she continues her research. At night, Will is lost in thought. Suddenly, his son's health starts getting worse. Will rushes to him, stabilizes him, and changes his filters. Then he realizes the filters will run out in just a few days. His son needs medicine and new filters to survive. The next day, Will goes to the shop and buys his son's favorite cheese because it's his birthday. That night, Will gives him the gift, and his son is very happy. The boy asks why they don't use the radio to contact other people. Will says they're trying to save electricity. After his son falls asleep, Will studies a town map and finds a hospital, a place where he can get medicine and filters for his son. Later, his son's condition worsens again, but Will quickly helps him. Now Will goes to Nina to ask for help in going down below 8,000 feet, but Nina says that going there is basically suicide because they have no weapon that can stop the reapers. Will tells her he has to do it for his son. He also promises that she can take anything she needs from below for her research. Nina becomes emotional but still refuses at first. However, after Will leaves, she thinks about it. She has actually built a tracker that can detect nearby reapers. The next day, Will prepares weapons for the journey. Just then, Katie arrives and says she will go with him. Will tells her to stay with his son, but she refuses. Outside, they meet Nina as well. Nina and Katie don't get along, and Nina tries to convince Katie not to come, but Katie still decides to go. All three reach the white line. Nina uses her tracker and confirms there's no reaper nearby. As they walk, she explains that the device detects electricity to sense reapers, but it only works within half a mile. As they go further down, they find old military vehicles. They collect weapons from them, including a grenade launcher. Nina also finds a reaper scale near another vehicle. Moving forward, they hear a sound in the jungle and get alert, but it turns out to be just a horse, because the reapers only attack humans, not animals. Suddenly, Nina's tracker signals that a reaper is nearby. They are still below 8,000 feet, so they're in danger. A reaper spots them in the jungle. They immediately start running toward the 8,000 feet line. Will runs to start the chairlift generator. As the reaper begins moving toward them, Katie fires the grenade launcher at the reaper to buy time. But even after the grenade hits, the reaper is unharmed. She fires again. Still no effect. Now the reaper charges at them even faster. Just in time, Will starts the generator. Will and Nina get on the chairlift and start moving toward the 8,000 feet line. Katie keeps firing to hold the reaper back, but the reaper climbs onto the tower. As the lift approaches, Katie jumps onto it. She almost falls, but Will grabs her. Suddenly, the reaper strikes the cable, causing the chair lift to break. Will and the others fall. With no other choice, they run toward the 8,000 feet line. Just before the reaper can catch them, they cross above the line and survive, barely escaping death. That night, they stay inside a house located above the 8,000 feet line. There, they talk more about the reapers. They discuss how every predator hunts to eat, but reapers don't eat. They only hunt, and no one understands why they behave this way. Nina says that according to her research, these creatures cannot be from Earth. Based on all scientific data, their origin is not terrestrial. But Will doesn't really care about any of that. His only concern is his son. He remembers time spent with his wife, who once told him that she believed Nina would someday discover the reaper's weakness. The next morning, they move forward and reach a mine. This mine has tunnels that lead below the 8,000 feet level. Nina feels this is extremely dangerous because parts of the tunnel go below the safe height, meaning there could be reapers inside. Will explains that both tunnels tunnel exits open above 8,000 feet, so the chances of Reapers being inside are low. But Nina still doesn't want to take the risk. Her tracker only works on open ground. Inside tunnels, it becomes useless. However, they have no other path, so all three decide to go through the tunnel. They climb downstairs and begin moving through the dark passage. Suddenly, they hear the sound of a Reaper. Alerted, they start running. The Reaper chases them. Will fires at it to buy time for the others. Luckily, Nina spots a small hole in the wall. All three hide inside it. The Reaper cannot reach them, but it keeps trying. Nina suggests that they stop breathing because the Reaper senses them through breath or movement. The Reaper pushes one of its tentacles inside the hole, but all three hold their breath. To distract it, Will lights a flare and throws it in another direction. The Reaper follows the flare and moves away. In the flare's light, Katie notices another exit inside the hole. They escape through it and come out of the tunnel. But suddenly, the Reaper appears again. It attacks Katie and drags her away with it. Will tries, but he cannot save her. Using that moment, they escape through the second exit of the tunnel and make it outside. Both Will and Nina feel deeply devastated about losing Katie. Nina decides that she will definitely take revenge on the Reapers. They continue their journey and soon find a car near a house. They stay in that house for some time. Will is overwhelmed with grief over losing Katie, but Nina comforts him, saying it wasn't his fault. Coming on this mission was Katie's own choice. They talk about their past. Will tells Nina that he once tried to stop his wife from going on research mission, but now he understands, and he doesn't blame Nina anymore. Going for research was his wife's own decision. When morning comes, they drive toward the town. Soon, they reach the hospital and quickly begin searching for filters and medicine. But suddenly, they hear a sound behind them. A Reaper is here too. They rush faster. Will finally finds the filters and medicine for his son, but just as they try to leave, the Reaper attacks, pushing its tentacle through the wall. They dodge it and run toward the upper floors of the building. While moving, Nina throws a smoke device. Will takes position, aiming at the Reaper through the smoke. Suddenly, he notices an oxygen cylinder nearby. As the Reaper emerges from the smoke, Will fires at the cylinder. The explosion throws the Reaper out of the hospital building. They look at it. There is no movement. They believe they've taken down the Reaper. Will wants to leave immediately, but Nina stops him, saying that they have taken down one Reaper. If she returns to the lab, maybe she can create something that can take down all of them. If that happens, all remaining survivors will unite and reclaim their world. Will agrees. Both head to the lab. However, the injured Reaper slowly regains consciousness. At the lab, Nina starts testing new chemical-coated bullets on Reaper scales, but the results still fail. She keeps trying repeatedly. Meanwhile, Will finds a family photograph of Nina. He realizes she once had a family. When he mentions it, Nina breaks down. She tells him that during the Reaper attacks, she lost her entire family while working in this lab. Now, Nina tells Will to leave. His son still needs him. At first, Will refuses, but Nina explains that her life now has only one purpose: finding the Reaper's weakness. With no other choice, Will leaves in the car. Nina tries once again, mixing chemicals with bullets, but the scale remains unharmed. This is her last chance. Then she notices a power cell and gets an idea. She adds cobalt into her solution and coats the bullet. Just before she can test it properly, her device signals that a Reaper is nearby, coming to attack her. At the same time, Will's car crashes against a large rock and flips. He wastes no time and starts running uphill toward the 8,000 feet line, but the Reapers detect him and begin chasing. Will is about to reach the safe height, but another Reaper appears in front of him. Now he is surrounded from all sides. He fires at them, but the bullets do nothing. The Reapers prepare to attack. Suddenly, gunfire hits the Reaper from behind. It collapses. It's Nina. She has finally succeeded in creating effective bullets. The other Reapers charge, but Nina takes them down too. When they look at the destroyed Reapers, they realize something shocking. Inside, they are made of machine parts. Nina explains, these were robots sent from another planet to wipe out humanity. That's why the Reapers attacked only humans. Now, with the Reapers' weakness discovered, they return to the colony. Using the radio, they contact all remaining survivors. Soon, humans begin coming down below 8,000 feet, and one by one, they start destroying all the Reapers. At last, humanity begins reclaiming its world.